Consider the LHS as it is, and I'm going to write it as x square over x minus 1 square. And the negative x squared from the RHS jumps to the LHS, so it would become plus x square equals to 24. For the next step, I have to factorize x squared, which means you take out x squared and write the remaining terms inside your bracket. So that will be 1 over x minus 1 square plus 1 equals 24. I would take the common denominator as x minus 1 square, and that will be the LCM, and I will simplify the terms inside the square bracket. X squared is outside, that remains unchanged. We have 1 plus x minus 1 square, and the common denominator now will be x minus 1 square equals to 24. X squared is outside. We have 1 plus x squared minus 2x plus 1 over x minus 1 square. Close the bracket, and it is equal to 24. X squared, get outside. We have x squared minus 2x plus 2 divided by x minus 1 square equals to 24. I write x square outside the bracket, x squared again inside the bracket, and for the next two terms I'm going to factorize minus 2. So we have x minus 1 close bracket, and then you have the common denominator for all these terms, that will be x minus 1 square. Close your square bracket, and this is equal to 24. X squared outside the bracket, and then we have x squared divided by x minus 1 square, and then minus 2 over x minus 1. You need to notice x minus 1 cancels off with one of the denominators, factors of the denominators, and this will be the result. You can close your bracket, and then this is equal to 24. I will multiply x squared with the two terms inside the square bracket, which means I now have x to the power 4 over x minus 1 square minus 2x square over x minus 1 equals 24. X squared over x minus 1 is common in the first term as well as the second term. I'm going to introduce a new variable called k, and k is equal to x square over x minus 1. And I'm going to substitute this into wherever I see x squared over x minus 1. Hence, the first term would now become k squared, and the second term would be minus 2k. And now I can bring the 24 from the RHS to the LHS, so it would become minus 24 equals 0. And now we have turned the entire equation into a quadratic. We have to find the factors such that the multiplication would be negative 24 and the addition should give you negative 2. We can use 6 and 4. Have to use minus 6 and plus 4. The quadratic equation in terms of factors would now be k minus 6 and k plus 4 equals to 0. K would be equal to 6 or k would be equal to minus 4. Now we will recall the substitution for k, that is x squared over x minus 1. So we have x squared over x minus 1 equals to 6, or x squared over x minus 1 equals to negative 4. Now solve the quadratic equations respectively. So we have x squared equals 6x minus 1, and this would be x squared minus 6x plus 6 equals 0. For the next quadratic, we have x squared equals negative 4x minus 1, and this would become x squared plus 4x minus 4 equals 0. In order to solve the two quadratic equations, I will proceed with completing square method, and for that, the mid term should be divided by 2. So the first quadratic equation would now become x minus 3 square minus, always minus, and then the same term should be squared. So we have minus 3 square plus 6 equals 0. And this would now become x minus 3 square. We have positive 9 here, but with this negative it will be negative 9, which means we have negative 9 plus 6 would be minus 3 equals 0, which means I have x minus 3 equals plus or minus square root of 3, and I simply move negative 3 to the RHS. Hence I have x equals 3 plus or minus square root of 3. That will be two solutions: x plus 2 within bracket square minus, always it will be minus, and we have 2 square minus 4 equals 0. For the next step, I have x plus 2 square, and this would become minus 8 equals 0. X plus 2 equals plus or minus square root of 8. And when I make x the subject, I have x equals minus 2 plus or minus 2 root 2. These are your answers.